Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Janamata Girish. Today, I come with the topic of uh, the long pending appointment of US Ambassador to India. So, finally, it has been done, and the person who has been appointed is Mr. Eric Garcetti. So, who is this person? Who is Eric Garcetti? So, many Indians living in LA might be knowing by knowing about him very well. NRIs especially. So Indians in US will be knowing about him. So I'll try to explain in detail his views on India. So how is that person? So why US has appointed him after 26 months finally, and why it was due for all these years. So since Biden has taken oath, he did not care to appoint a US ambassador to India at all. So since then it is pending almost 26 to 27 months now. So finally it has been done. So who is this Eric Garcetti? Come, we'll try to know about him. So friends, this is Mr. Eric Garcetti, who has been appointed as the US ambassador to India. So he was the president of LA Council from 2006 to 2012. Um, later he became the mayor of Los Angeles from 2013 to 2022. So when it's LA, he'll be well known by most of the Indians, as I said earlier, NRIs. So LA has a good chunk of NRIs staying Los Angeles. So he was the mayor there. He was also the youngest mayor of LA. So which we don't care about whether he was youngest or oldest. So his records and credentials and his views on India, uh, which to be sorry is not good. So he doesn't have a good view on India, especially the current BJP government. He has talked about India's CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, when he appeared for the before the Senate Foreign Relations uh, Committee, Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He talked about the CA. So this is what he said. I'm going to quote. Uh, this was on human rights situation in India. So these guys talk about human rights situation in India, which is very hypocritic and laughable. Uh, so you will come to know about it as I go through. This is what he had said. He said, I intend to engage directly with civil society. There are groups that are actively fighting for human rights. They'll get direct engagement from me. He was referring to the human rights group which were against the CAA in India in the infamous Delhi riots where they rioted and for the CAA not to be implemented. He was talking about those human rights group which protested against the Indian government while bringing the CAA. He went on to say, these will not just be afterthoughts for me. I have fought for human rights on 4 different continents and will be a core part of what I will pursue with my Indian counterpart, he had said back then. See, he is talking about human rights. Please keep it in mind. And he went on to say, being asked if the Citizenship Amendment Act will discriminate against the Muslim population in India. So he had said, I will not only just bring it up, but it will not be something in the end as an obligation. It will be a core piece of what I will be engaging my Indian counterparts with. So this is what he had said during the CAA. And for the record, this guy's human rights, I'm going to talk about it now. This guy's human rights did not go well because he was he's a close eye of let us know further about this guy. He's a very close eye of Joe Biden, almost a right hand man. He was funded by CCP. His funding for mayoral election, almost $1 million was funded by CCP. So either with directly by CCP or the associate members of it. What is CCP? Chinese Communist Party. He has very close links with Chinese Communist Party. He failed to condemn his close aide's involvement in a misconduct. And he also defended the police in the George Floyd case, which was infamously became famous about a black man's death. See, he is talking about human rights in India, and he is worried about the CAA in India. His appointment raised flags in the BJP government. This appointment actually it has raised flags. He has targeted the Indian government back in 2016 and later as well. His appointment speaks a lot. So India must be very cautious. PM Modi will be flying to US in June. That is why they are appointing a ambassador now after 27 months, because in another 2 3 months Indian PM will be flying to on a diplomatic and bilateral visit to US. So US media now, what is happening in US media is it is mostly controlled by CCP and its members. So the two major US media houses, one is Washington Post and New York Times, and this guy has close relations with China, Chinese Communist Party. So all these are negative factors and red flags in this person's sworn appointment to India as an ambassador. US always has tried to sabotage Indian growth. It tries to hit two birds. Remember, it tries to hit two birds at once with one stone. The two birds are India and China. So this is what he is trying to do, and Indian diplomacy will be tested to a great extent when after the appointment of this guy. So actually, India need not worry about it. Mr. Jaishankar and Mastermind Ajit Doval are in charge as a right hand and left hand of Mr. Modi, and we have a very good, courageous leader and international figure in Mr. Modi. So they will not falter, I believe. India's dealings with US has been a walk on the knife's edge for almost a decade now, because whenever they get the chance, they help our enemies, Pakistan. So it will be very interesting to see how India takes this journey ahead with Mr. Eric Garcetti at the helm. So with another 18 to 20 months left for the next mayoral election, US presidential election, so it will be a test of times for Indian diplomacy with Eric Garcetti sitting in Delhi. He will be allowed to speak, but I hope he doesn't cross his lines or try to bring down India at the international level. Thank you all.